Hello everyone, hope you liked my last video titled Backfire Diagnosis. But in that video I didn't actually diagnose the backfire. It's an ongoing investigation. I'm a little bit stumped, and the next thing I think I'm going to try is to change the coil. I borrowed this one from work, so yeah, like I said, this is a brand new coil. It was new when I built the engine, only 600 kilometers ago. But I did a little research yesterday and there was a list of faults that you could check to diagnose a backfire in the carburetor. And so this is going to be the next step to change this and see if it makes any difference. Hopefully it does, but I'm not too sure. The other thing, if this doesn't work, I'm probably going to buy new leads. I don't remember where I got these from or when I bought them, but I know they were new, but I don't know if they were good, high quality leads or not. So yeah, if the coil doesn't solve anything, I think that's going to be my next thing to check. So first I'll change this coil and see what happens. The coil is actually quite straightforward to change. You just have the HT lead that goes from the end of the coil to the top of the distributor. This supplies like the power to the distributor so it can generate a spark. The coil is, I don't know exactly the full science behind it, but I know it consists of two coils inside, and I think it's fed by 12 volt from your battery, and the field collapses to generate a bigger current, I guess, to your distributor. And they can obviously fail, and it's not uncommon that they fail. So I'm kind of hopeful that this might solve the problem. Really easy to change. You just have the minus terminal there, plus terminal there, and obviously the lead to your coil, and then I just undo these two bolts that hold the clamp in place. So I'll change that and start it up. Okay, this coil is slightly slimmer than the one that was on here, so the clamp won't actually grab it and it won't fit between here. So I'm just going to leave it loose like that and start it up just to see if it makes any difference at all. And we'll go from there. So no, it wasn't the coil either. I really don't know what to check next. God damn it. Okay, I put the original coil back on, and I double checked all that these leads are correctly on, because you have these rubber covers. So I just peeled these rubber covers back on, like these dust shields or whatever, and made sure that they're really in there. And yeah, well, I checked that before I started it up, so it's not bad connection there, but I really have a feeling that it's the distributor timing is not right. So I think I'm going to double check that I've followed the instructions correctly, and then if that doesn't fix it, I'm going to order new HT leads and see if that makes any difference. I'll order the good quality ones. They're quite expensive, but maybe it's worth it. And if it's not that, it's always good to have a spare set in the car if you're going on long journeys or whatever. And it's good to have like a toolkit and some spares with you. So I think after that, I'll have to phone a friend. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. Check the ignition timing. I know with these electronic ignitions, you don't need to time them with a strobe. And this particular 1, 2, 3 ignition with the Bluetooth, you have a tune option that you can click, and it fine-tunes itself when the engine is running. But I would think if it's really far out, then obviously it doesn't have enough scope to like tune it. It has to be pretty much spot on for it to fine tune. So if it is quite a way out, then that explains why it's running like this, because it does seem like a timing thing. Normally when the coil goes, like, it just doesn't work. I've had that before where the engine just shuts off and nothing will work because the coil stops working like that. So yeah, I mean, kind of running out of options, but narrowing it down maybe a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to check this and get back. Okay, I've had another idea. I haven't even really considered that it could actually be this distributor that's faulty. The distributor that I've been praising all along for being really good. I read reviews before I bought this and they're supposed to be really good, but you know, sometimes things break. So I think what I'm going to do next actually is put a different distributor in there. So I just had a look through some of the parts I have here, and I have this, which is it's called 009, which is distributor without the vacuum advance, and I don't need the vacuum advance because I have these twin carbs. But I have put in, I don't think I've ever used this, but I put in an electronic AccuSpark, like electronic module, so it doesn't have the old style points that open and close, you know, mechanically, or condenser or anything like that. So I'm not even sure if this works, but I think I'm going to give this a go, and just to see if the problem clears, because then at least we know where we stand. And then if it is this that's faulty, then I have to either get in contact with him. I'm not sure if it's been quite a year, but I've only done, like I say, 600 kilometers with it, so it shouldn't break. It should last for hundreds of thousands of kilometers, I would think. So I'm going to try and change this, but for some reason this isn't spinning. I might have some more distributors somewhere in my storage, so maybe I have to dig something else out. But I thought I'd show you different styles of distributor. I just found this in my box. This is from an older Beetle, I think, and it has the vacuum on the side for the advance. So basically on the intake, you create a vacuum and it opens this diaphragm and advances the timing, because the timing has to change the faster you're going, or the faster the RPM, then the angle changes. And then also this is a little bit different. This is a magneto, and Volkswagen engines were used for many things in industries, different industries. Like, for example, fire engines would often have a Volkswagen engine used as a water pump, for instance, and they would run one of these, and because the pumps didn't have to rev very high, this gives a really good spark. And I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about these, but I don't. But I think these give a really good spark, but they don't have like the advance on them, because the industrial engines, I don't think they revved probably much over 2,000 RPM. You know, they just used to plod along, whereas car engines are constantly working through the rev range and everything. So yeah, that's a magneto. I have a few of these industrial engines, so that's where that's come from. Okay, so I'm going to have to figure out why this isn't spinning, or I have to find another one so I can just quickly swap it over and see if there's a problem. I don't want to spend too much time on this if the problem isn't here, you know. But then again, it would be quite nice to have a spare one for when I'm traveling around in the car and for some reason it could break, and then I just have another one, a spare one to stick in. But I'm pretty sure I have some of these somewhere else in the storage, but maybe I'll just give this a quick look at and then I'll swap it over. Right, so what I've basically done is I've turned over the engine by hand by spinning this pulley, and then put in the timing mark that I had made the other day, in line with this like tab, or the split in the case. You see that, so I've lined up the notch, the 7.5 degree notch there, and then I've unclipped the distributor clips, and then there's my number 1 spark plug. So you can see that the rotor is actually pointing exactly, well, it's like locates like that, so the rotor is pointing to the number 1. So you can see there's the contact that connects to the HT lead, and then creates or arcs across the two when there spins around. So now I know that that's pointing at number 1, I'm going to take this out. Okay, so I've just loosened up this clamp, and this should just pull out like that, and you see that it has this oil seal on here. That's quite important, because if you don't have that, oil will come up from the crankcase, because it has a gear in the bottom of here that fits into this, and if you don't have that O-ring, then oil will squirt out of here. So I don't have a spare one of those, so I'm just going to steal that off of here, put it onto the other one, disconnect these cables that go to the coil, and connect the other one up. Okay, on the end of the distributor, you can see this is what locks into the how would you say, probably shaft that's inside here. So you can see that it's actually offset, so it can only go in and be seated in one position, so you can't really get it wrong or 180 out unless you have your cam in the wrong place. So yeah, and make sure there's a little bit of oil on your O-ring, just so it slips in and doesn't catch on the way in or tear or anything like that. So I'll just put it in now. It should just go in. There it goes, and then you can just turn this rotor, put in a bit of downward pressure on it, and you should, maybe it's not in there, oops, maybe it's not quite down far enough. Ah, there it is, it's located. Oh no, it's quite hard to do this one-handed. Okay, I'm just going to put the camera down and then get it in there. Okay, there it is. It's seated, and you can see that it's seated. But as you can see, the rotor is pointing in a different direction to the 1, 2, 3 ignition, and that's normal. It's just that the gear is slightly in a different position. But as long as you line it up with these, that it fires at the right place, that's fine. And if you can see, there is a little notch, and that indicates for the timing for number 1. So if you line that up with the rotor, we are at least somewhere near it being in the right place. Okay, I'm just going to lock it up, see if this cap fits, because I'm not sure if that will fit this distributor. Connect these up to here. I have to change those so I can push these on. So I'll just do that, and then we'll try and fire it up and see if anything happens. I just got the spare coil out because I remembered it had these little connector things on there, so I'm going to steal them from that coil and put them on this coil, and then I don't have to change these ends. They should just plug in. It's really important that you get these the right way round, because if you don't, it will ruin the electronic ignition module thing. I remember in the instructions it's really clear that you shouldn't mess these up, and it's the same with the 1, 2, 3 ignition that I have, that you follow the instructions really carefully and you don't just connect everything up and try and start it up. So yeah, I always mark on my coil really clearly the plus and the minus, so it's really hard to get it wrong. So I'll just connect this up. This is roughly in the right place. The cap luckily is the same as the other 1, 2, 3 ignition, and let's see if this works. I mean, like I said, I bought this years and years ago and never used it, so I don't know if it works or not. So let's give it a go. Okay, so I just opened the door so I don't get fumed. Let's squeeze in past this roll cage, neutral, couple of pumps on the accelerator. Is this going to work, people? Is it going to work? I'm kind of a bit nervous, because if it is the distributor that is the fault, it was really expensive, and if it was over a year ago, then I'm not sure how I stand on getting a replacement. But let's cross that bridge if we have to get to it. So you ready? Can you believe it? so much better, huh? A little bit cold still. But it's firing all four. Okay, I'll switch it off. Well, I solved the problem. This is to blame. Kind of mixed emotions, you know, because I bought this for reliability, and I thought it would be better performance because you get a better spark. You don't have to change the points, there's less moving parts that can go wrong. And I like the fact that it had the Bluetooth option, so you can change the curves and the tuning and stuff like that, which is all great, and it was working really well. And yeah, so I'm disappointed that this is broken, and it was 400 euros, I think, about that. So I'm going to have to contact them and see if they can exchange it. It's probably about just over a year ago, I think I bought this, but 600 kilometers is not good enough for this to fail. So I've only read good reviews about these things, so you know, these type of things happen. It's not a reflection on the product as a whole. You know, things can be faulty or go wrong, so you know, I'm just disappointed that I'm going to have to try and deal with this, I guess, you know. And I hope these videos kind of highlights the frustrations, as well as it's really nice, the feeling of achievement when you solve the problem, you know. That's why I think a lot of people do hobbies in general, you know, and especially with the classic cars or bikes and things like that. The building for me is what keeps me interested. The upgrading of parts or changing things to your personal taste, which for me, you know, like with this hobby, I like to do things that I like, and obviously I'm influenced by the scene and what other people are up to and everything, but you know, that's kind of what really keeps me interested in the hobby, and I think that's why I've been into it for 20 years, because you know, I can figure these things out, and sometimes, yeah, it's really frustrating, and you feel like giving up on these things, but I always come back to them. Sometimes I'll put the project away for a couple of months and have a breather, but I always come back to it, and that's the really satisfying thing. And I think, even like I said, when I was building the engine for this, there was times where I doubted myself in if I was doing it the right way. But that's how you learn, you know. You make mistakes, and you know the next time, if there is a next time that you do it, that there's the proper way of doing it. So, you know, I think that's why this hobby is so great. But yeah, like I was saying, I really hope that these videos kind of highlight what's involved with running a classic car. You know, they're old. It's old technology. Even if you replace everything, it's old technology. Things go wrong. It can be the smallest of component that can stop the whole project from working. And but for me, that kind of I kind of love-hate with that kind of thing, you know. But yeah, I'm going to have to. I don't know what to do. I don't particularly want to keep this distributor. I can't test drive it because the weather's really bad. We've had snow. I'll probably put a video up maybe as part of this to show how much snow we had over the weekend. It's nearly all gone, and now we've got thick snow, so I can't test drive this at the moment. But I think what I'm going to do is get a standard distributor and put the new points and condenser and everything, and I'll cover that in another video. Yeah, I'm going to have to try and I'll contact them and see what they say about replacing this, because yeah, it's a lot of money. 400 euros is a lot of money to me, and I'm not just going to throw it away and move on. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the troubleshooting and diagnostic backfire videos, and hopefully I can get back to this Karma gear engine build that I covered in the previous video that I had started. So at least I've made progress, and we'll be able to use the car when the snow disappears again. But yeah, like I say, thanks for watching, and any comments are welcome, and I shall make another video soon. Thanks again. Finished summertime. It's begun. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like what you're watching, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It'd be really much appreciated. And yeah, like I say, leave a comment if there's anything I haven't made clear or you want to see more of, and I'll do my best. Okay, cheers.